New with London is the Allocation Workbench. The Allocation Workbench uses the new grid UI technology to logically group information and allows inline editing on the hours. Boards can be created for the convenience of the user, and the Allocation Workbench integrates the resource report and availability in one single interface. The Allocation Workbench is the central place to view and manage resources. In the Filter Navigator, type Resource. The Resource Workbench has been replaced with the Allocation Workbench. However, the capacity planning portion of the old Resource Workbench is still available. On the Allocation Workbench, click New to create a new board. A great new feature is the ability to create resource boards. For example, you can create a board for a group that you manage, or you can create a board for all of your directs by selecting the User Manager criteria. The boards can also be created by program, portfolio, or a selection of criteria between demand and projects. For example, if you're managing a critical program and you'd like to make sure that it's fully staffed, you can create a board by program name so you can see all the participants on the project and the resource requirements. Let's create a board for a group. When we land in the board, we can see that the board is defaulted to the current date to 6 months out. A new resource plan can be created for this board by clicking on the New Plan Action button. You can filter the board to only show planned, requested, confirmed, or allocated resources. There is a toggle between week and month, and the ability to search between hours, full-time equivalent, or person days. There is an edit icon to edit the board, and a delete icon to delete the board. Clicking on Details expands the board. Additional columns can be displayed by clicking on the configuration icon on the right and selecting the values. Resources can be added to the grid by clicking on New Plan. Let's take a look at Cyril's availability before we fulfill the requests. Click on the Resource Finder in the top right. One doesn't need to navigate off the page to view the resource reports anymore. It's all now self-contained within the grid itself. Cyril is available, so let's click on the action icon to confirm the resource plan. Edits can be made by double-clicking in the grid and changing the allocation. Or by clicking on the information icon and editing the list and form view. Now let's fulfill a group request. Click on the Resource Finder icon on the far right to open up the resource availability grid. We can see Darren has availability, so let's add him. Click on the selection box and click Confirm. He's added in the top requested grid in confirmed state, and the hours have been populated for him. But let's say we don't want to just use Darren, or he can't be on this effort for the 5%. Let's change his allocation. A yellow triangle appears to indicate that the request is only partially fulfilled. Let's also add Sabrina. Click on the selection box and the Confirm button. When we added Sabrina, the system intelligently allocates Sabrina's time to add up to the remaining requested amount. The yellow triangle has disappeared. As we saw prior, resources can be added to the grid by clicking on New Plan. Another way to add resources is by using the Resource Finder and searching for resources. The Finder search criteria include searching by group, role, or user attributes. User attributes include a simple search or an advanced search. Let's take a look at the Resource Finder bottom grid. There is a date selector on the right-hand side that allows you to add more months to the view. There is also a configuration pane to add more columns. Updates in the top grid automatically reflect in the bottom availability on the Resource Finder pane. More information can be found on the Learning Portal or on the product documentation site at docs.servicenow.com.